Hey there, welcome to Broderos. Tonight, we've got hours of chilling horror stories combined with soothing rain sounds to help you relax and sleep. Before you drift off, leave a comment below and let us know where you're listening from and what time it is. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe right away. If you end up not enjoying it, you can always take it back later. Get cozy and let the fear take over. I wake up to the sound of something moving. It's faint at first, like a distant rustle, so subtle that for a moment I wonder if it's just the wind. But then it shifts, closer, louder, as if it's coming from inside the house. I look around the room. It's dim, barely lit by the faint moonlight creeping through the curtains. My clock shows it's 3:30 a.m., the time when most people are fast asleep and everything should be still. But it's not still. Not tonight. I sit up in bed, trying to listen. My heart starts to race. There it is again. A shuffle of feet. It's not the house settling, not the usual creaks of old wooden floors. No. This is something deliberate. Something wrong. The air feels heavier, thicker somehow, like it's pressing against me. The shadows in the corners of the room seem deeper, darker. I rub my eyes, trying to shake off the grogginess, but the unease only grows. I'm not alone. It's not the first time. I've had these dreams before, nightmares, I should say. Terrifying dreams where strangers come into my house, walk through my rooms, stand right at the edge of my bed. But I always wake up before they touch me. This time, though, there's a difference. I'm awake, and the sound is real. I force myself out of bed. My bare feet hit the cold floor, sending a shiver up my spine. The floorboards creak under my weight as I move toward the door. I know I should check the house. I know I should look. But there's a part of me, deep down, that wants to turn around and climb back into bed, pretend it was just a dream. But I don't. I can't. The sound gets louder as I step into the hallway. It's coming from downstairs, from the living room. My chest tightens. I grip the edge of the railing as I slowly descend the stairs. The faint light from the street lamp outside casts long shadows across the walls. I freeze halfway down. The living room is dark. Too dark. The couch, the table, the lamp, all are just shapes in the shadows, but it feels wrong. There's something off about the way the shadows stretch across the room, like they don't belong. Like they're reaching. I wait, barely breathing, trying to make out any sound. A chill runs through me. The air is colder now. My fingers tingle, and a dull ache spreads across my chest. There it is again. A soft footstep. Not on the hardwood, but on the carpet. Slow. Intentional. I force myself to move, step by step, toward the doorway. The wooden floor beneath my feet creaks with every inch I take. It's so quiet now, just the sound of my own breath and the faint shuffle from the next room. The door to the living room is ajar. I push it open just a little, careful not to make a sound. I can't see anything at first. But then, a faint movement. A shadow flickers just beyond the doorway. It's human, but not. It's wrong. The shape shifts, distorts. And then I see the figure. It's tall, too tall, with limbs that don't seem to move naturally. I can't make out its face, but I can feel it staring at me, like it knows I'm here. My heart hammers in my chest, but I can't look away. Then, Suddenly, it turns toward me, its head jerking to the side with a sharp, unnatural twist. The movement is too fast. Too sudden. I stumble backward, my breath catching in my throat. My feet scramble against the floor, but my legs feel like they've turned to stone. What is that? What's happening? I can't think. I can't process what I'm seeing. It's like my mind is fighting to reject what my eyes are telling me. But I know one thing. I have to get out of here. My feet finally move, and I turn, running down the hallway toward the stairs. The sound of footsteps follows, but it's not the same. It's different, faster. It's chasing me. The darkness feels alive, pressing in from all sides. The walls seem to close in. I make it to the stairs, my hand clutching the railing as I rush up. I can hear it now, right behind me, its breath. No, not breath. A wheezing, a gasping, a sound that doesn't belong to anything human. The top of the stairs is just within reach. Almost there. But then, a cold, wet hand grabs my ankle, pulling me down. My scream is swallowed by the darkness as the world tilts and spins. I don't know how long I'm out. Minutes? Hours? When I wake, I'm lying on the floor at the top of the stairs. There's no one there. The house is silent again. The door to the living room is still ajar. The shadows are just shadows. But I know something has changed. I can feel it. And it's only just beginning. I lay there, on the floor, gasping for breath. My body feels heavy, as if the weight of the fear itself is pressing me down. I stare at the ceiling, trying to calm the storm in my head, but all I can hear is the pounding of my heart, the deafening silence of the house, and the eerie sound of my own ragged breaths. It's just a nightmare, I tell myself. It has to be. But as I push myself to my feet, the world doesn't feel right. The air still feels thick, oppressive, like it's pressing against my skin. I look at my hands, they're shaking. My fingers tingle with the residue of what I've just experienced. My eyes dart nervously around the hallway, half expecting to see that thing again. But the house is quiet. Too quiet. I stand there for what feels like an eternity, unsure of what to do next. The faintest sound from downstairs makes me jump. I freeze, my body tense, my muscles rigid. I need to check. I can't ignore it. Slowly, I turn, heading toward the stairs once more, each step feeling heavier than the last. The familiar creak of the wooden floor underfoot seems louder now, each sound echoing in the stillness, amplifying my dread. The living room is just down the hall. I can't escape the pull, the gnawing feeling that I have to know what's going on, what's really going on. I reach the doorway, peering around it, but I don't see anything, nothing that would explain the feeling that something is horribly, unnaturally wrong. The air in the room is still cold, a chill that settles deep in my bones. It feels as though the room itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The couch, the television, the coffee table, they all sit there, undisturbed. But the shadows seem deeper, darker. They linger unnaturally, like they're alive. It's as if the room itself is breathing, expanding and contracting with each passing second. I step further inside, every sense on high alert. I hear it again, something scratching at the walls. Not the sound of wind or trees against the glass, but something much more deliberate. The scratch of nails. I turn quickly, looking toward the corner where the sound seems to come from. But there's nothing there. Nothing at all. A knot tightens in my stomach. I know this feeling, this constant crawling sense that I'm being watched. That I'm not alone, not truly alone, despite the empty house around me. I force myself to move, to breathe, to stay calm. I check the front door. Locked. The back door too. Locked. No signs of forced entry, no sign of anyone being here, yet that thing from earlier, it was real. I felt its touch, the coldness, the wrongness. Its fingers had wrapped around my ankle, pulling me down the stairs. Shaking my head, I moved toward the kitchen, trying to force my thoughts into some semblance of order. I need to calm down. I need to think. And then, just as I'm about to cross the threshold into the kitchen, I hear it. A loud bang, followed by another and another, echoing through the house. My heart leaps into my throat. It's coming from upstairs. The sound of something heavy being thrown. It can't be real. It just can't. I rush to the stairs, my legs moving faster than my mind can process. The feeling of dread intensifies with every step I take. I reach the top of the stairs and stop, eyes scanning the hallway, my ears straining for any sound. Silence. Nothing. And yet, again, I hear the scrape. The soft, deliberate scratch, followed by a faint creak as if something is shifting. I move toward the bedroom door. It's cracked open, just a sliver. I don't remember leaving it open. My fingers tremble as I push it the rest of the way. The room is exactly as I left it. The bed, the dresser, the windows slightly ajar, allowing the breeze to move the curtains just a little. It's peaceful, almost serene. But I know better than to trust what my eyes are telling me. I step inside, and that's when I see it. A dark shape crouched at the far corner of the room. It's still, unmoving. At first, I think it's a shadow, but then, slowly, it shifts, its form stretching unnaturally, like a liquid shadow crawling along the walls. I gasp, but I can't move. My body is frozen in place, my breath caught in my throat as I watch it. Then, I see its face, or what's left of it. The face is wrong. Deformed. A mask of darkness with no eyes, no mouth, just an endless, swirling void where its features should be. The shape seems to stretch, elongate, like it's reaching for me, pulling itself out of the corner. I want to scream, but the sound won't come. It tilts its head, as if studying me, and then, ever so slowly, begins to move toward me, its form slithering like liquid. I don't know how, but suddenly I'm backing away. I don't remember turning, but now I'm stumbling down the hallway, towards the stairs, my legs shaking, my chest tight with panic. I hear it again, the soft scrape of its movement behind me, getting closer, closer. My heart races. I know it's chasing me. I don't stop. I can't stop. I reach the stairs, but my foot slips, and I fall. The world spins as I tumble down, my body hitting the steps with sickening thuds. But I don't care. I have to get out. I have to get away. Finally, I reach the bottom. I crawl to the door, my fingers brushing against the cool metal of the handle. I twist it with shaking hands and throw the door open. Outside. I breathe in the cool night air, my chest burning, my mind reeling. I glance back toward the house, but the figure is gone. It's all over, I tell myself. But as I stand there in the darkness, I can't shake the feeling that it's still there. Watching me. Waiting. And I know it's not over. The night air is cold against my skin, and I shiver, though I'm still too stunned to move. My hands are raw from where I'd scraped them on the rough wood of the stairs, but it doesn't matter. I can't feel anything but that dark presence, that thing that was in my house. I keep telling myself that it's just a figment of my imagination. It has to be. There's no way that thing could be real. But then why does the fear feel so visceral? Why can I still hear its breathing in my ears, like it's still standing right behind me? The streetlights flicker in the distance, casting long, trembling shadows that dance across the sidewalk. I don't even know where I'm going, but I just can't stand the thought of being inside that house anymore. It's like the walls themselves are closing in on me, suffocating me with the weight of whatever is lurking in the dark. I walk and walk and walk. I don't know how much time has passed, but when I finally look up, I realize I've wandered far from my house. The neighborhood is unfamiliar, the house is strange and looming. It's like I've stepped into another world, one that doesn't follow the rules of the one I know. I stop, breathing hard, my chest tightening again. The eerie feeling follows me. The feeling that something is still out there. Something is watching me. I glance over my shoulder, expecting to see that dark shape from before, creeping along the street behind me. But there's nothing. No shadow. No figure. The street is empty. I shake my head, trying to clear the fog of panic from my mind. I just need to find somewhere safe. Somewhere to think. I turn a corner and then another, but nothing feels right. The silence is oppressive. There are no sounds of the usual nightlife, no crickets chirping, no distant hum of cars. Just complete, suffocating quiet. It's as if the world itself has held its breath, waiting for something to happen. Then, just as I'm about to collapse against a tree, a strange sound cuts through the air. A voice. Soft. Whispering. Just beyond the corner, coming from an alleyway. I freeze. It sounds like someone calling my name. But I know it isn't real. It can't be. My mind is playing tricks on me. That thing inside my house, it's gotten into my head. It's messing with me. But the voice doesn't stop. It calls again. Louder this time. It's familiar. It's not just a whisper, it's a voice I recognize. I take a hesitant step toward the alleyway, my feet dragging as if my body is reluctant to follow my mind. The darkness in the alley seems to swallow the light, pulling everything into its depths. My breath catches in my throat. The air feels colder, heavier as I approach. The voice calls again, but now it sounds desperate. Help me. My heart stutters in my chest. That voice. It's not a stranger's. It's familiar, but I can't place it. I step closer, drawn to it despite every warning in my mind. As I reach the mouth of the alley, I stop, staring into the pitch-black void ahead. I see nothing. No figure. No person. But I hear the voice again. Please, help. The words send a chill down my spine. I shouldn't go in. I shouldn't. Every part of me tells me to turn around, to run back home, to lock every door and never leave again. But I can't shake the feeling that someone needs me. That I'm the only one who can help. I step forward. My foot brushes against something cold, something wet. I glance down. There's nothing there. Just the usual grime of an alleyway. But the sensation lingers. My skin crawls. And then, from somewhere deeper in the alley, I see it. A flicker of movement. I freeze. My heart pounds. The darkness seems to swirl, shifting like it's alive. Then, through the shadows, something emerges. At first, I think it's a person, but as it steps into the dim light, I see that it's not. The shape is wrong. Distorted. Too tall. Too thin. Its arms stretch unnaturally long, and its face. I can't even describe it. It's not a face at all. It's a void. A black hole where the features should be, swallowing up any semblance of humanity. It doesn't speak. It just stares. The voice stops, replaced by the sound of breathing, that same wheezing, raspy sound I'd heard earlier. The thing takes a step toward me, slow, deliberate. I can feel the weight of its gaze, the pull of its presence. It doesn't move like a human. It doesn't move like anything natural. It's like it's made of the dark itself, and it's coming for me. I stumble backward, my hands scrabbling for something, anything to hold on to. My feet slip on the wet pavement. I can't get away fast enough. And then, just as it reaches for me, I hear something else. A scream. Not mine. It's a woman's voice, shrill and terrified. It cuts through the air like a blade, sending a spike of panic through me. The thing pauses, tilting its head in the direction of the sound. For a brief moment, I see its form blur, like it's shifting, its presence stretching toward the scream. I don't wait to see what happens next. I turn and run. My legs are heavy, my breath ragged, but I don't stop. I don't look back. I just keep running, the sound of my own footsteps pounding in my ears until the alley fades behind me. When I finally stop, gasping for air, I don't know where I am anymore. I'm lost, but I don't care. I have to get away. I have to get away from the darkness. From the thing that follows me. I don't know how long I've been running. My legs ache, my body trembling from exhaustion and fear. Every step feels like a desperate attempt to outrun the darkness that's still lurking just behind me. But no matter how fast I move, I can't shake the feeling that it's right there at my heels. That thing. My mind races. What is it? What does it want? And more importantly, why is it following me? I stumble forward, barely able to catch my breath, my thoughts a tangled mess. The streets are unfamiliar. The houses are shadows now, darkened silhouettes against the faint glow of the streetlights. I don't recognize any of this. I don't know where I am. I slow to a stop, my heart still hammering in my chest. The pounding in my ears is deafening, drowning out everything else. I glance around, trying to orient myself, but there's nothing. Just empty, silent streets. No one. No sounds. The weight of the silence presses down on me, thick and suffocating. It feels wrong. It feels unnatural. I take a hesitant step, my breath shaky. And then I hear it. A soft click. My heart skips a beat. I turn, instinctively, eyes scanning the darkened street. I don't see anything. No figure. No movement. Just the dull, dim glow of the streetlights stretching out into the distance. But I can still feel it. That prickling sensation on the back of my neck. The presence. And then I hear the whisper. It's faint at first, like a breeze brushing against my skin, but it grows louder, clearer, more urgent. Turn around. I freeze. The voice is familiar, almost soothing, except it's not. It feels wrong, as if it's being distorted, as if it's trying to trick me. My skin crawls. I want to turn and run, but something about that voice, something about the way it calls to me, makes me freeze. Turn around. It repeats. I don't want to, but I feel it deep inside. I feel that pull, that irresistible need to listen, to obey. I have to look. Slowly, I turn. At first, I see nothing but the dark, empty street stretching ahead of me. But then, in the far distance, something moves. A shadow, flickering like a candle's flame. I can't breathe. I don't want to go closer, but I can't seem to stop myself. I take one shaky step forward, then another, and before I know it, I'm walking toward the flickering shadow. With every step I take, the sound of my footsteps grows louder, more distorted, echoing around me in a way that makes my head spin. My body is shaking, my legs unsteady beneath me. The closer I get, the clearer the figure becomes. It's a person, or at least, it looks like one. A woman, standing at the far end of the street, her face obscured by dark, matted hair. She doesn't move, doesn't speak. She just stands there, staring at me with an eerie stillness that makes my stomach churn. "Help me," she says, her voice a soft rasp, barely audible. I stop. The words are chilling, but not for the reason I thought they would be. There's something about her, something familiar. It's like I've seen her before. But where? When? I take another step forward, the sense of dread in my chest intensifying. The woman's head tilts slightly, as though she's waiting for something. Waiting for me. Her voice breaks the silence again. "You have to help me. They're coming." The words hit me like a punch. I stop again, my breath catching in my throat. My heart races. Who's coming? I want to scream, to ask her what she means, but my mouth feels dry, my tongue thick in my mouth. Instead, I just stare at her, unable to move, unable to make sense of anything that's happening. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I see it. A shadow. A shape. It's moving, no, sliding, along the street, just beyond the edge of the light. I turn toward it, and as I do, I see more. A dozen figures, crawling along the pavement, their bodies contorted, twisted, like they don't belong in this world. They slide toward us, their faces covered in shadows, their movements jerky and unnatural. I want to scream, but the words are stuck in my throat. My legs won't move. I can't run. I can't do anything but stand there, paralyzed with fear. The woman, the figure, takes a step toward me. She's no longer standing still. She's moving now, her body swaying in a way that makes my stomach turn. "They're coming for you," she whispers, her voice growing fainter. "They've already found you." I don't know what she means. I don't know what's happening. But I do know one thing, they're not human. They don't belong here. And they're coming for me. I turn and run. I don't look back. I don't dare. I can hear them behind me now, the soft scuffling of their feet, the dragging sound as they slide across the ground, their breath rasping in the silence. I run faster. My feet slip beneath me, my body moving on autopilot. My thoughts are a blur, but I don't care. I just need to get away. I need to outrun them. The street bends ahead, and I turn the corner, but they're still there, still following. I see a light ahead. A building. A place I can hide. But it's too far. They're too close. As I sprint toward the light, the world seems to bend around me, like the street itself is shifting, warping. The building looks farther away now, like a mirage in the distance. I stumble. Fall. The ground is cold, the asphalt biting into my palms. I look up, and there, standing in front of me, is one of them. Its face is just a dark void, its limbs too long, too twisted. It moves toward me, slow and deliberate. I can't move. I can't breathe. It reaches out to touch me. I close my eyes, certain that this is the end. The thing's cold, elongated fingers are mere inches from my face, the air around it heavy with a suffocating stillness. I can feel the weight of its presence pressing down on me, and every nerve in my body screams for me to move, to run, but my body is frozen. The darkness surrounding it is thick, unnatural. It feels like it's alive, like it's pulsing, waiting. I brace myself for the cold touch, but it never comes. Instead, a loud, screeching sound rips through the air. A sound like metal scraping across stone. The ground beneath me shudders, and the thing in front of me falters, its twisted limbs shaking. For a moment, the darkness recedes. A flicker of light appears at the far end of the street, but it's not the warm yellow glow of a street lamp. No, this light is cold, harsh, a pale light that flickers like a dying flame. It's coming from a building. No, not a building, a doorway. The thing in front of me pauses, its head turning slightly, its hollow face tilting in a disturbingly human way, as though it senses something. Before I can react, I hear it, a voice. A familiar voice, sharp with panic, calling my name. Come on. It's clear now. It's a woman's voice, the same one I heard earlier, but now it's not distant. It's right here. Closer. As if it's coming from the doorway. The light flickers again, brighter now, illuminating the shape standing there. I don't think. I can't think. My body moves on its own, driven by some primal instinct. I scramble toward the door, my legs shaking beneath me, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The thing behind me doesn't follow. It doesn't move, doesn't make a sound. I don't care. I just keep running, every muscle screaming in protest. I reach the door, and for a moment, I hesitate, my hand hovering over the cold, metal handle. Then, I hear the screeching sound again. The thing behind me is moving. I can hear its footsteps, slow and deliberate, like it's savoring the moment. The ground trembles beneath me again. I don't know if it's my fear making the earth shake or if it's that thing, but either way, I don't care. I wrench the door open. The light from inside floods over me, bright and blinding. I step through, and the door slams shut behind me with a deafening bang. The sudden silence is overwhelming. My pulse is pounding in my ears. I collapse against the door, chest heaving, trying to catch my breath. I'm safe. For now. I try to focus on my surroundings. The room I'm in is unfamiliar, too clean, too sterile. The walls are white, almost blindingly so, and the air is thick with the scent of antiseptic. There's a single lamp in the corner, its light harsh and clinical. Everything feels too perfect. Too still. It's not a place that feels like home. I look around, my heart still racing, my mind trying to make sense of what just happened. The thing. The woman's voice. The darkness. You're safe now. The voice comes from behind me, and I spin around, heart leaping in my throat. She's there. The woman I heard earlier. She's standing in the doorway across the room, her figure bathed in the harsh light. But there's something different about her now. Her face is still obscured by that matted hair, but her presence feels wrong. Her movements are jerky, unnatural, like she's being controlled by something else. I try to speak, but my throat is dry. I can't form words. The fear is suffocating. She takes a step forward, and the light seems to flicker, casting long, terrifying shadows across the room. Her voice is softer now, almost gentle, but there's a sharpness underneath it. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispers. I take a step back, my eyes glued to her. What do you want from me?" My voice cracks, the words tumbling out in a rush of panic. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, she tilts her head, as if considering my question. The room feels colder, the shadows pressing in from all sides. I feel like I'm suffocating, like the walls are closing in on me. "You shouldn't have come here," she repeats. This time, it's more insistent. "It's too late now." "What are you talking about?" I take another step back, my mind scrambling to make sense of this nightmare. But she doesn't move. She just watches me, her eyes hidden in the dark strands of her hair. The ground shakes again. A loud crash. Then the door I had just closed, the one I thought was keeping me safe, starts to tremble. There's a low growl from the other side, the sound of something scraping against it. The thing is back. It's at the door. But this time, it's not alone. More sounds. More growls. More footsteps. I can hear them now, coming from all directions, their footsteps getting closer. The walls of the room begin to distort, the angles warping as if reality itself is beginning to unravel. The light flickers, and I see their shadows stretching across the floor, getting bigger, closer. I want to scream, but the words won't come. I don't know how to fight this. I turn back to the woman, my eyes desperate. "Help me. Please, what is this?" She steps closer now, her movement stiff and jerky. Her hand reaches out, and I recoil, but I can't move fast enough. She grabs my wrist. "You've seen it now," she says, her voice low, almost mournful. "You've seen them. There's no going back." The door rattles harder now, the thing on the other side slamming against it. The woman's grip tightens, and for a moment, I feel like she's going to pull me into the darkness. The shadows grow longer, and the light flickers once more. "You're already theirs," she whispers. The door bursts open with a deafening crash. I scream. I used to think that it was all in my head. The sounds, the shifting shadows, the overwhelming sensation that something was moving underneath my bed. But now, I don't think I can ignore it anymore. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it. Something is down there, watching me. Every night, the same. The house is quiet, the kind of quiet that only happens late at night. The world outside is asleep, and it's just me, alone in my room. My mind begins to settle, and I start to drift into sleep. But then, just before I close my eyes, I hear it. A soft rustling sound. It's faint at first, almost like the wind moving through the trees. But there's no wind tonight. I know that. The sound is coming from beneath the bed. My heart skips a beat. I try to brush it off, telling myself that it's nothing, just the house settling, maybe a creak from the floorboards. But then I hear it again, a faint scraping noise, like something dragging across the wood. Slow, methodical. I tell myself that it's all in my head, but the sound keeps coming and it's getting closer. I sit up in bed, my body rigid with fear, straining to listen. There's something under there. I can feel it. It's waiting. I know it. I swallow hard and swing my legs over the side of the bed, my feet brushing against the cold floor. The room is dimly lit by the faint light coming from the window, casting shadows that seem to shift and stretch with the movement of the moon. The air feels heavy, thick with tension. My eyes flicker toward the space under the bed, where the darkness seems to press against the edges of the room. A sudden chill runs down my spine. I freeze. There's a shadow in the corner of the room, barely noticeable at first, but then it shifts. It moves. Slowly, as if trying not to be seen. I don't want to look. I don't want to know. But I can't stop myself. I glance at the corner. The shadow is gone. But the noise from beneath the bed is still there, louder now. Scratching, scraping, moving. I feel like I can almost hear breathing now, shallow, steady. I know I should get up and run. I know I should leave the room, but I can't. My legs won't move. The terror is suffocating. I feel like I'm trapped in the bed, unable to escape whatever is lurking beneath it. I pull the blankets up to my chin, hoping it will protect me, hoping that it will all just go away. But the noises continue. The scraping grows louder, more distinct. It's like claws on wood, like fingers searching for something. Stop, I whisper, my voice trembling. The sound stops. For a moment, there's silence. I breathe, trying to calm my racing heart. I slowly let the blankets fall from my face and look down at the edge of the bed. Nothing. Just shadows. I close my eyes for a moment, willing myself to believe that it was just my imagination, that I'm just being paranoid. But then, just as I start to drift off again, there's a thud. A heavy thud from underneath the bed. It's like something has shifted. Something has moved. I freeze, the blood draining from my face. The air grows colder, and I swear I can feel something brush against my foot. Something cold. Something alive. I pull my foot back, my pulse hammering in my ears. My hands are shaking, and my throat feels tight with fear. I can't breathe. And then I hear it again. A whisper. A voice, soft and hushed, as if it's right next to me. Come closer. I don't know what it is, but I feel it now. It's not just under the bed anymore. It's in the room with me. Watching me. Waiting. I squeeze my eyes shut, praying that when I open them, everything will be normal. But when I finally do, the shadows in the room have shifted. They're darker, more defined. And something is moving in the darkness. I don't know what it is, but I know I can't stay here. The floor creaks as I slowly get out of bed, my breath coming in shallow gasps. I turn toward the door, but the shadows by the windows seem to shift, too. They're moving toward me. I'm trapped. I can hear it again. The scratching. It's right under the bed. The voice whispers once more, this time closer, more insistent. Come closer. I can't breathe. I can't think. I don't know what to do. But I know one thing. I have to get out of here. I have to escape before whatever it is under the bed gets me. With shaking hands, I grab the door handle and yank it open. The hall outside is dark, but it's a relief to be out of that room. Still, I know it's not over. It's following me. I know it is. I can feel it. I stumble out into the hallway, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The cold air presses against my skin, but it feels like nothing compared to the weight of what I just left behind. I can still hear it, the scratching, the whispering, the heavy thuds of something moving underneath my bed. The sounds are etched into my mind, too real, too close. I look down the dark hallway. The only light comes from the faint glow of the bathroom door, slightly ajar. It's not much, but it's enough to guide me. I'm shaking, my legs weak, but I can't stop. I don't dare look back. I know that if I do, whatever it is will be right behind me, watching. I reach the bathroom door, my hand trembling as I push it open. The light inside flickers as I step in, casting long shadows against the walls. The mirror above the sink reflects my pale face, my wide, terrified eyes. I stare at myself, but it's not my reflection that I'm worried about. It's what I can't see. I pull the door shut behind me, the soft click of the latch barely audible in the silence. I lean against the sink, trying to calm my breathing, but the room feels suffocating. The air is thick with the smell of something unfamiliar, something metallic, and it's making my stomach churn. I close my eyes, forcing myself to think logically. It's just my imagination. That's what I've been telling myself for years. A child's fear. I must have been dreaming. Or maybe it's just a rat or something in the walls. There's a million explanations. But then I hear it again. A faint scuffle. I freeze. My heart slams against my chest, and my breath catches in my throat. The sound is coming from the hallway. I step toward the door, pressing my ear against it. The noise is clearer now, footsteps, slow and deliberate, moving down the hallway. I hold my breath, my fingers gripping the cold doorknob so tightly my knuckles turn white. The footsteps stop. Silence. I wait, listening, every muscle in my body tensed. The seconds stretch into what feels like eternity. And then, there it is. A soft, almost imperceptible scraping sound. Like fingernails on the floorboards. It's not my imagination. It's real. I whip around, looking for something to defend myself with. My eyes land on the small medicine cabinet above the sink. I don't care what's inside. I just need something. Anything. I open it quickly, pulling out a small bottle of aspirin. It's useless, but it's all I have. I grip it in my hand like a weapon, the hard plastic giving me a false sense of security. The footsteps start again. Closer this time. I press my back against the door, heart pounding in my chest. The sounds are louder now, unmistakable. There's something, or someone, walking in the hallway. I can almost hear its breath, ragged and uneven. It's right outside. I can feel its presence. I know it's waiting. Watching. Suddenly, the door creaks. I freeze. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, the handle starts to turn, slowly, deliberately. I know I have to move. But my legs feel like they're made of stone. I can't breathe. I close my eyes again, desperately wishing for it to stop. The door handle keeps turning, and then, Without warning, it jerks open. I don't see anything. Nothing. But I feel it. I feel it standing there, just on the other side of the door. The air is colder now, sharp, biting. A shadow stretches across the floor, long and dark, like something reaching out toward me. The shadow moves. I scream, but no sound comes out. The door slams shut, but the shadow doesn't disappear. It follows, stretching along the walls, creeping closer, inch by inch. I can't escape it. I turn, looking for an exit, but the small bathroom is too cramped, too suffocating. My eyes flicker to the window, but the darkness outside seems even worse. There's nothing but shadows, endless shadows, and the feeling that something is waiting for me out there too. And then I hear the voice again. Come closer. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's happening. But I can feel the floor beneath me shift, like something is moving underneath it. Something is under the house. And it's coming for me. The whisper comes again, louder now. Clearer. It's right in my ear. Come closer. The temperature in the room drops further, the air turning thick with an unnatural cold. The walls feel like they're closing in on me, the shadows growing larger, more defined. I don't know if I can outrun this thing. I don't know if I can even hide from it. I look around desperately for anything that might help, anything that might protect me. But there's nothing. Just the cold, the darkness, and the voice. I can't stay here. I know that. I have to escape. With trembling hands, I pull open the window. It's stuck at first, but with a final push, it gives way. The cold night air rushes in, biting at my skin. I don't think, I just move. I climb out of the window and onto the roof, my heart pounding in my chest. My breath comes in sharp gasps as I scramble across the shingles, not daring to look back at the window, at the house, at the dark shape that's still watching from inside. But as I reach the edge of the roof, I hear it again. The scraping. The whisper. Come closer. It's all around me. I don't know where to run anymore. There's nowhere safe. My heart is racing as I scramble across the roof, my feet slipping on the uneven tiles. The wind howls in my ears, whipping my hair across my face, but I can't focus on that. I can't focus on anything except the sound, the scraping, the whispering, the steady, relentless thud of something following me. I keep moving, desperate to put distance between myself and whatever is waiting inside the house. The darkness below me stretches like an abyss, and I know, deep down, that if I fall, there will be no coming back. My breath is coming out in shallow gasps, my legs burning from the effort. I can't hear anything now except the pounding of my own pulse, but I can feel it. I can feel it behind me. Watching. I don't dare look back. But I can't help myself. My eyes flicker over my shoulder, and for a moment, I think I see something. A shadow moving in the darkened window. I force my head back forward, and my foot catches on something. I stumble, nearly losing my balance, and the panic surges in my chest. No. I can't fall. I steady myself, but the night is growing colder. The wind howls louder, and the house below me seems to groan in protest, as if the walls themselves are alive, shifting and trembling. The whispering sound returns, faint at first, but unmistakable. Come closer. The voice is so close now that I feel it in my bones. It's no longer a distant thing, something I could push away with my thoughts. It's here. Right here, on the roof with me. and I can feel its presence even without seeing it. I can feel its eyes on me, its breath, cold, sharp, on the back of my neck. I take another step forward, my foot scraping against the tiles, but something pulls at me. A weight on my chest, a pressure that makes it hard to breathe. I turn my head sharply, searching the shadows. And then, in the corner of my eye, I see it. A figure. It's standing in the window now, its shape barely visible in the gloom. Just a silhouette. Its outline is wrong, too tall, too thin. I can't make out its features, but I don't need to. The shape is enough to send a chill of terror through me. I feel my stomach twist, a wave of nausea flooding my senses. I know this figure. I know it from somewhere, but I can't remember where. It's like a shadow I've been running for my whole life, a nightmare I can't escape. And then it moves. The figure shifts slightly, tilting its head as if it's studying me, deciding whether to come closer. I can see its hands now, long, spindly fingers, the kind you see in old horror films. But these aren't just any hands. These are wrong. The fingers stretch and bend in unnatural ways, reaching toward me as if to grasp me, to pull me back into the dark. I stagger backward, almost losing my footing. My heart is racing in my chest, my breath coming in ragged gasps, but I can't stop. I have to keep moving. I turn back to the edge of the roof, my eyes scanning the yard below. I could jump. I could make it. But I can't. The feeling of being watched is suffocating. There's no way out. The shadows in the yard are too deep, the air too still. It's like the whole world is holding its breath, waiting for me to make a move. And then I hear it again, the voice. Come closer. The whisper is soft, almost gentle, like a lover's call. But I know better. It's anything but gentle. It's the kind of voice that crawls under your skin, that twists your insides and makes you question everything you've ever believed. I feel something shift inside me, a deep instinct telling me that if I don't do something, if I don't act now, it will be too late. Without thinking, I push myself forward, jumping off the roof. The fall is terrifying, the ground rushing up to meet me faster than I can comprehend. My stomach drops, and for a moment, I'm weightless, suspended in time, in space. Then, I hit the ground. The impact knocks the wind out of me, and I gasp for air, my body aching as I push myself to my feet. My legs feel like jelly, but I don't stop. I run. I don't care where I'm going. I just have to get away. I can't hear the footsteps anymore, but I know it's still there. I can feel it, just behind me, waiting for me to slip up, to make a mistake. The trees around me blur as I run, the moonlight filtering through the branches in strange, shifting patterns. I don't know where I'm headed, but I don't stop. My heart hammers in my chest, my breath coming in quick bursts, but I keep moving. I keep pushing. But then, I stop. I feel it again. The pressure. The weight. It's like something has settled over me, like I'm drowning in darkness, unable to move. I look around, my eyes scanning the trees, the shadows, but I can't see anything. Nothing but the thick blackness of the night. The whisper comes again, this time louder, clearer. Come closer. And then I see it. In the distance, just past the trees, there's something moving. It's small, almost imperceptible, but I know it's there. And it's coming toward me. I don't know how much longer I can run. I don't know how much longer I can hide. The darkness is closing in, and no matter how far I run, I can't escape it. I feel the eyes on me. I feel the cold. And I know, deep down, that whatever is behind me, it's already here. The coldness wraps around me, suffocating like a thick blanket of fear. I can feel it on the back of my neck, crawling under my skin, as if invisible hands are closing in, pulling me into a space where nothing can escape. The whispering voice, it's not just a sound now. It's in my bones, in my mind, every fiber of my being vibrating with its chilling presence. I turn around, half expecting to see something, someone, close behind me. But the forest is still, eerily silent, the trees towering like dark sentinels. My breath comes in ragged gasps, and my heart pounds in my chest like a drumbeat I can't escape. I'm not sure what I'm running from anymore. I don't even know if I'm still running in the right direction, or if I've simply circled back into the darkness I was trying to avoid. The sound of something, someone, moving in the brush to my left makes me freeze. It's faint, but unmistakable. A footstep, barely a rustle, followed by another, and then a third. I stand still, trying not to breathe too loudly, praying it's just my imagination. But deep down, I know it isn't. I know it's real. It's right here, right next to me. The figure from the window, the one that followed me across the roof, hasn't left. It's waiting, somewhere in the dark, moving closer with each passing second. I can feel it like a presence in the air, no longer just a shadow, but something more tangible, something that breathes and lives. I try to step back, but my legs are shaking, my body trembling with a fear that paralyzes me. I glance over my shoulder again, but this time, there's nothing there. The trees stretch out in front of me, their twisted branches clawing at the sky, and for a split second, I convince myself that maybe I imagined the whole thing. Maybe it's all in my head, a result of too many sleepless nights. But then, another step. This one louder. Closer. I turn so fast I almost lose my balance, my hands reaching out to steady myself on the rough bark of a tree. My eyes dart from shadow to shadow, but there's nothing there. No one. But I can feel it. The pressure. The weight in the air. The way the wind has stopped, the way everything is still, like the forest is holding its breath, waiting for the next move. I take a step backward, my feet crunching against the dry leaves on the forest floor. I keep moving, each step more desperate than the last. There's a part of me that wants to scream, to shout for help, for anyone to hear me, but I know there's no one out here. Not now. The trees loom taller around me, their shadows stretching unnaturally long, their branches bending like fingers reaching for me. And then, there it is again. The sound. Footsteps. Closer. Almost right behind me. I don't dare turn around. I can't. I won't. I force myself to keep moving, faster now, running through the darkness with nothing but the dim light of the moon to guide me. But the whispers, they follow me. Every step I take, every move I make, I hear it. Come closer. I can't escape it. The voice is louder now, clear, almost urgent, like it's calling me, beckoning me to something I know I can't outrun. My legs ache, my chest tightens, but I push myself harder. I have to get away. I don't know where I'm going, but I can't stop. I can't look back. If I do, if I stop, I'm finished. I burst through a thicket of branches, into a small clearing. The moonlight shines here, but it's weak, flickering like a dying light bulb. The shadows seem to come alive, twisting and stretching in every direction. I can see the outline of an old shack ahead, decrepit, forgotten, and the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It feels wrong, like it shouldn't be here, like it never should have existed. But there's nowhere else to go. I stumble toward the shack, my hands trembling as I push open the rotting door. It creaks and groans, but it gives way, and I slip inside, my breath catching as I stand in the darkness. The air is thick and stale, and there's a pungent, sour smell that makes my stomach churn. It smells like mold. It smells like something ancient. The door slams shut behind me, and I freeze. The sound of footsteps outside the shack is louder now, unmistakable. They're coming for me. I back away from the door, my heart pounding in my throat, my legs shaking. I feel my way through the shack in the darkness, my hands brushing against the damp walls, the rough, uneven floor beneath my feet. And then I find it. The stairs. I hesitate. There's no way back, no way out. Whatever is chasing me, whatever has been following me all this time, it's too close now. But there's nowhere else to go. I climb the stairs. Each step creaks, loud in the silence. My body is stiff with fear, my senses heightened. I don't dare look behind me. I don't want to see what's following me. I don't want to acknowledge it. At the top of the stairs, there's a small attic. The door is slightly ajar, and I push it open slowly, the old wood scraping against the frame. The attic is dark. There's nothing but dust and cobwebs, old furniture draped in sheets, forgotten relics of a time long past. I can't see anything clearly, but the air is thick with the sense of something waiting. I don't know why, but I step inside. And then, there it is. A figure. It stands in the far corner of the room, just out of the dim light, its outline jagged and wrong. The longer I look at it, the more it shifts, its shape twisting and contorting into something I can't recognize. The smell of rot is stronger here, choking. And then I hear it again, the whisper. Only now, it's not from outside. It's inside. Inside my head. Come closer. I can't breathe. I can't think. The figure moves, a flash of movement in the corner of my eye, and I stumble back, my heart slamming in my chest. I don't know how much longer I can keep running from this thing. But one thing is clear. It's no longer chasing me. It's waiting for me. The figure in the corner of the attic doesn't move. Not right away. It's like it's toying with me, waiting for me to make the first move, but I can't. I can't breathe, can't think, can't do anything except stand frozen in place. Every part of me is screaming to run, to flee the terror that's holding me in this moment, but my legs won't respond. The air feels heavier, like it's closing in around me, pushing me further into the corner where the figure stands. I squint, trying to make sense of the shape. It's not human. I know it's not human, but there's something strangely familiar about it. Something that pulls at the deepest part of my memory, as if it's not the first time I've encountered this thing. But I don't know why. How could I? I can't remember ever seeing it before, not like this. Then it shifts. The shadows stretch unnaturally, like it's being pulled by invisible strings, twisting in ways that defy reason. The figure elongates, its body growing taller, its arms stretching in impossible angles. I feel sick, my stomach lurching as I try to keep my gaze locked on it, unable to look away. Its movements are slow, deliberate, like it's savoring the moment, savoring my terror. Come closer, it whispers again, the voice reverberating in my skull, gnawing at the edges of my sanity. It's not just a whisper, it's like it's inside me, crawling through my thoughts, every syllable scraping against my mind. I try to step back, but my body refuses to move. My eyes dart to the door, to the stairs I just came up, but I know it's too late. There's no escape now. The figure's presence fills the entire attic, and the air feels suffocating, thick with dread. It's no longer a question of if it will get me. It's just a matter of when. I feel something wet slide down my cheek. I don't know why I started crying. I don't know why I became so afraid that tears started to spill, but there's no time to process it. My breath comes in shallow gasps, my chest tight as the panic sets in. The figure takes another step forward. I can feel the floor beneath my feet creak, the dust in the air swirling around me like some kind of foul mist. I hear it more clearly now, its footsteps, soft but deliberate. It's walking toward me. And with each step, the room seems to grow darker, the shadows twisting, creeping closer to where I stand. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts. Is this real? I keep asking myself, but deep down, I know the answer. I can't deny what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. The smell of rot is overpowering now, like the decay of something long forgotten. Something that should never have been disturbed. And that voice. The whispering voice. It's coming closer. I feel it now, in my chest, vibrating with a terrifying intensity. My hands shake as I try to steady myself, to make sense of it all. But there's no reasoning with it. There's no escape. Suddenly, the figure stops. It's inches from me now, close enough that I can feel the cold, rancid breath against my skin. I want to scream. I want to cry out, to beg for mercy, but the words die in my throat, smothered by the sheer weight of the fear pressing down on me. The figure's face, it's not a face at all. It's shifting. Like an unfinished puzzle, like something that can't decide what it wants to be. One moment, it's human, eyes wide, mouth stretched in an agonizing grimace, and the next, it's something else entirely. Its features melt and reform, each shift more grotesque than the last. The stench of decay intensifies. It's so thick now that I can almost taste it. I try to back away again, but there's nowhere to go. The walls are closing in, the attic shrinking around me. I feel the pressure on my chest, like something heavy is weighing me down. I can't breathe. I can't think. I need to get out of here. Please, I whisper, the words slipping from my lips before I can stop them. My voice cracks, barely audible. But the figure doesn't respond. It simply watches me with eyes that aren't eyes, with a gaze that feels like it's peeling away my very soul. I don't know how long I stand there, frozen in terror. My body aches, my mind is unraveling, and I can feel the panic rising again, threatening to consume me. And then, just when I think I can't take it anymore, the figure moves again. But this time, it's not toward me. It's going down. I watch in disbelief as it moves toward the floor, its body folding and contorting into unnatural shapes, slithering like something from a nightmare. It's crawling, vanishing, down toward the floorboards, disappearing into the cracks, its grotesque form slowly melding with the darkness below. My heart pounds in my ears, but I don't move. I can't. I just stand there, staring at the spot where it disappeared. The room feels silent now. Too silent. As if everything around me is holding its breath. I wait. For what? I don't know. But I wait. And then, suddenly, a loud creak splits the stillness. It's coming from the floor. from under the boards. My stomach drops as I realize with a sickening clarity what that sound means. It's not gone. It's still down there. And now, it's coming for me. I turn. I run. I don't even know where I'm going anymore, just that I have to get away. My legs are moving on their own, but I barely register the motion, too focused on the sound behind me. The creaking is louder now, followed by a soft, scratching noise that sends shivers down my spine. I don't look back. I can't. I just run, faster and faster, heart hammering, mind screaming for escape. The figure may be gone, but its presence is everywhere. It's under my feet. It's under the bed. Hope your dreams are filled with fear. Good night.